Great. Welcome everyone to the Town of Greater Napanee Committee of Adjustment for the 9th day of December 2025. Just apologize. We had an extended closed session meeting this evening, so I apologize for getting started late, but welcome to those that are here in the body of the council chambers, and welcome to those that are at home watching. So having said all that, we'll call the meeting to order. We'll look for a motion for the adoption of the agenda as presented. Moved by Deputy Mayor Carver, seconded by Councillor Martin. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed? Motion is carried. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof? Seeing none. Look for a motion to adopt the minutes of the November 10th Committee of Adjustment to be adopted as presented. Moved by Councillor Shank, seconded by Councillor Hicks. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed? Motion is carried. Land severance application, PLLA 2025-061, 6448 County Road 9. Roll number is 1121-130-010-12900. Owner is T. Cook and T. Myers. The applicant is W.G. Van Grunsven and Sharlene Van Grunsven. As always, is there anyone here in the body of the council chambers that would like to speak for or against this application? Seeing none. Mr. Nanton, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you. So I will provide a brief presentation for the application PLLA 2025-061 on this frosty evening out there. To begin with some site context, the lands shown here on red, in the red, pardon me, are approximately 32 hectares in area located on the north side of County Road 9, the typo there, in an area characterized by limited rural residential development and open field agricultural uses. The site itself is zoned prime agricultural and is designated prime agricultural through the town official plan. The intent of the application is to sever 7.2 hectares of the property shown in red, being 6448 County Road 9, and add them to the land shown here in pink at the north end of the slide, which is a property situated along Hamley Road. The retained lands through the severance will be 25 hectares in area, maintaining appropriate and existing frontage. The benefiting lands of the severance will be intend to use the lands for continued agricultural practices. If you look at the lands to be severed, there's a significant wooded kind of plot right in the middle of it. That kind of makes it discontinuous. By severing the northern portion of the lands and adding them to the benefiting lands, it allows for continued agricultural uses. There were no comments received from the public. The county and conservation had no objection to the severance. And for reference, staff have recommended a condition for a minor variance to address non-compliance resulting from the application, taking in existing lot area and further reducing it. Staff found the recommendation to be consistent with the provincial planning statement and have appropriate regard for the Planning Act and conform to the policies of the official plans. Approval is recommended subject to conditions, and I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. Is there any questions or comments for Dave? Go ahead, Councillor Nari.
Just looking at the map, this is landlocked land between two farms, and that's it. Is that correct?
Thank you for the question. And through you. So the portion that will be severed would only be landlocked if it wasn't adjoining the parcel which has frontage on the Hamley Road.
Great. Thanks, Councillor Nori. Is there anything else? Seeing none, we do have a recommendation that the committee receive for information the staff report for application PLLA 2025-061, and further that the application to permit a lot addition of plus or minus 7.2 hectares to an abutting plus or minus 42 hectare lot be approved subject to a number of conditions that are contained within this evening's report. Moved by Councillor Martins, Deputy Mayor Carver is the seconder. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed? Motion is carried. Next matter is file number PLCOR 2025-062. The address is 520 Sherman's Point Road, roll number 1121-170-010-1670. The owner is Acxiz Inc., P. Burger, and the applicant is P. Burger. And once again, is there anyone in the body of the council chambers who would like to speak for or against this application? Seeing none, Mr. Nanton, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you. So I'll provide an application presentation for the land severance for 520 Sherman's Point Road. This slide shows the entire site area in red, that being a house at the northern extent of Sherman's Point Road. The land area in total is 33 hectares. The surrounding area, as you can see from the slide, is shoreline residential predominantly, and some larger rural land holdings kind of interior. The site itself is zoned shoreline residential and is designated shoreline residential and rural through the town official plan. The intent of the application is to sever the existing home, shown in yellow here, from the balance of the lands which are to the east of Sherman's Point Road, shown in red. It'll leave basically a balance of 32 hectares in area and will result in no additional development through the application itself. Two general inquiries requesting additional information were received for the application. No comments of concern or objection were received through those. The County Conservation Authority had no objection to the proposed severance. Staff have recommended a condition requiring the proponent apply for a zoning bylaw amendment. This is to address non-compliance resulting from the application, so they'll have a limited road frontage technically, but it won't be a change of conditions. Existing access will be maintained. But the retained lands will have effectively an accessory structure without a primary use, so the zoning bylaw will address that and until a primary use is established on the lands. Coming to the recommendation, staff found the application consistent with the PPS, having appropriate regard for the Planning Act and conforming with the policies of the official plan. Approval of the application is recommended subject to conditions, and I'm available for questions. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Dave. Is there any questions, comments, or concerns with respect to Dave's reporter's presentation? Seeing none, we do have a recommendation that the committee receive for information the staff report for application PLCOR 2025-062 and further that the application to sever a 0.9 hectare lot be granted subject to a number of conditions that are contained within this evening's agenda. Moved by Councillor Shank, seconded by Councillor Hicks. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed? Motion's carried. Minor variance application, PLVAR 2025-063, 82 Dundas Street West, roll number 112101001004100. Owner is J. Graham and the applicant is J. Moffatt. And once again, do we have anyone here to speak for or against this application this evening? Seeing none, Mr. Nanton, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Your Worship, and through you. So moving right into the presentation for 82 Dundas Street West. Shown here is in the center of the screen is basically the site context. So the lands of the application are on the south side of Dundas Street and north of Mill Street West in the urban area of the town. The site itself is zoned residential type 4 and is designated low density residential through the town official plan. The intent of the application is to seek relief from section 4.1.2b, 1 and 2, respectively, to permit reduced minimum yard setbacks, those being interior and rear yard setbacks for existing accessory structures. So this application was originally considered through a lot addition application. Once those lands are transferred and new lot lines are established, new non-complying setbacks for these structures will result, and this application has been submitted as a condition to clear that condition and just address the non-compliance. No additional developments proposed, and the relief sought will recognize and permit existing conditions. This slide just confirms that the application is requesting a reduction of 1.2 meters to permit a 0 meter interior side yard setback and a 0.6 meter rear yard setback, which are previously reviewed through the lot addition. No comments of concern were received from the public. The county conservation had no objection to the proposed severance either. The recommendation of staff is that the application meets the 4 tests of a minor variance under the Planning Act, and therefore recommendation is approved and recommended, pardon me, but I'm available for questions or comments. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Dave. Is there any questions, comments, or concerns for Dave with respect to his presentation or the applications before us? Deputy Mayor Gower.
Thank you, through your worship. So we're going to grant a 0.0 meter side yard here. Is that attached to that same parcel on 82, or is that going to be onto the 79 mil? Just trying to figure the sketch out here.
Thank you for the question. So if you look at the north end of this sketch itself, so the accessory structure at the furthest end north is kind of on a slight bias. So it's technically not quite 0 meters, but the eaves might get close at that north west corner, the bottom corner. It's approaching 0, 0. We're considering just giving that relief so there's no discrepancy over time, but it's between the property owners that are transferring the land, it's been deemed supportable to them.
Okay, I have no issues with it. I'm just curious what happens down the road when somebody else doesn't own this land and they got to do service or work on that. I remember a previous one years ago took place down south in Appanee, where all of a sudden you couldn't do the siding on the barn and you couldn't put an eave trough up on the barn because you had to go on the other guy's property to put your ladder up. And I just don't want to get into that mess again.
Great. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Calver. Thank you, Mr. Natton. Is there anything further? Seeing none, we do have a recommendation the committee receive for information staff report for application PLVAR 2025-063 and further that the application for 82 Dundas Street West requesting the following variances be approved. Variance number 1 is bylaw number 0222 requirement, section 4.1.2BI, requiring an interior side yard setback of 1.2 meters for an accessory building. Proposed is a 0 meter interior side yard setback. Relief requested is to recognize an existing storage building, which is to be added to the property at 79 Mill Street. While the building is actually 0.05 meters from the proposed lot line, the eaves will encroach onto the retained lands. And variance number 2, bylaw number 0222 requirement, section 4.1.2 BII. Minimum rear yard setback 1.2 meters, proposed 0.6 meters rear yard setback. Relief requested to request an existing garage which is to be added to the property at 79 Mill Street, which will be 0.69 meters from the proposed lot line between the severed and the receiving property. Moved by Councillor Norrie, seconded by Councillor Shank. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed? Motion is carried, and look for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Deputy Mayor Calver, seconded by Councillor Martin. If there's no further comments, questions, or concerns, all in favor of that motion? Opposed? Motion is carried. Thanks, folks, and we'll see you momentarily for our regular session of council.